1, 2, 3.
There is two types of RVers. The ones that know the rules, and then the ones who are making everyone else crazy.
And if you're not sure which one you are, you might want to stick around for this episode.
Welcome to the Project RV Living Lost podcast. It's where we talk about our life as full-time RVers on the road and how sometimes, we get lost along the way. If you're new here, my name is Thomas. This is my beautiful wife, Victoria. We've been on the road full-time in our RV since 2020 with our two little dogs that you might be able to see over here, Barley and Oreo.
On our YouTube channel, we love sharing beautiful locations, hidden gems, and tips and tricks to help you get there on your journey. But here on the podcast, we get to dive a little bit deeper. And for today, we're going to be talking about the unspoken etiquette of campgrounds. Maybe you're brand new to RVing and you're just not really sure what the proper etiquette is. Or maybe you've been doing this for a long time and you're the person that people are actually rolling their eyes at. Either way, I think this is going to be a good one.
No judgment here, y'all. Also, if you stick around, we do have a little bit of a Q&A going on, a couple of listener questions that you guys sent in. But first, we do actually have kind of a big announcement.
Yeah. Those of you who follow us know that I'm a travel nurse and our location depends on where my job is. Well, we've been hanging out in California for about the past 3 months or so, and guess what? We're going to be here for about another 3 more. In fact, I just started the new contract last week, and we were lucky enough to get 2 whole weeks to spend however we want. And you want to tell them what we did?
Yeah, so we actually hung out at another hot spring. Big shocker if you follow us on YouTube. But we went down to Southern California, a little outside of San Bernardino, a place called Deep Creek Canyon Hot Springs. And this place was awesome. Normally, we're like, go, go, go in a location. We want to show you as much as possible. Yeah. Honestly, we left the campground once in like 5 days that we were camped there.
That was just for supplies.
Yes.
I would say that it made for like a more relaxing vacation, but the fact is that we ended up hiking at least 12 miles because we went down to that canyon 3 times.
Maybe you saw this video already, but this place was absolutely incredible. It had about 5 pools along the river. It's kind of like that Goldilocks thing. Go find the one that fits you. Go hang out in that one. But it was also cool because a lot of the PCT hikers were coming through there. The trail runs right near the hot springs. So we got to meet a lot of travelers that were coming through there. Yeah, very nice people, a lot of interesting stories, couple of weird characters, but...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think you got to be a little interesting to make the choice to hike the PCT, right?
Shout out to those people. Right now, these are the northbounders, and they're going from Mexico to Canada. And these people have a long way to go from where we saw them.
A long, long ways. Actually, you know what I just realized is that they run across Julian, which is another amazing little town in the mountains of California.
Yeah, we got an episode on that one, so check it out.
Yeah. We actually heard about these hot springs in another hot springs from a stranger, and they did not disappoint. And they have almost unlimited campsites. There's so much space out there. And also, if you happen to be into this, they have a whole section where it's clothing optional.
And while I may have wandered outside of my RV and my underwear, let it be stated that we did stay in the clothing mandatory section of the campground.
I don't know if it was actually mandatory. I saw some people walking around.
That's true.
Just be careful if you have kids. Just be aware.
Yeah, and there's going to be lots of naked folks down near the hot springs, so keep that in mind as well.
Yeah.
Okay, now that we're done rambling on about our new favorite hot spring, because it feels like every time we go to one, it becomes our favorite.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
Let's get to the unspoken rules at RV campgrounds.
But before we get into the unspoken rules, maybe we should go over the spoken, or I guess they're more written rules that you get when you go to most campgrounds, which include keeping your dog on a leash, of course, picking up after them, driving the speed limit, which a lot of times is somewhere between like 5 and 10 miles per hour, which feels so slow.
I will say, she says that right now because we actually just received a phone call from our current RV park 2 days ago that my wife they called me to let me know that my truck was speeding through the RV park.
I blamed it on him.
Not speeding per se, but going faster than the posted speed limit. And they let us know. They were very nice about it, but let's just say Victoria was embarrassed.
Yeah, she was like, can you please try to stay closer to the 5 miles per hour? And I'm like, I'm so sorry.
They're really nice here.
Oh, gosh.
Anyways, you can't forget the the ever prominent quiet hours, which are generally somewhere between like 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. They vary depending on where you are. Back to the dog thing, though, I will say that, listen, our dogs are basically like our children, you know?
Yeah.
So I get it. You think that your dog is the best dog ever. It's so well behaved, and it doesn't need to be on a leash.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we know your dog's super sweet. We couldn't get away with that because our dogs just like don't listen, you know, and they'll just run.
And that's the thing, you got to be considerate because, like, maybe your dog is that well behaved, but mine's not necessarily that well behaved. So, like, I don't know. It's not a good
I guess
idea.
the only reason I bring it up is because obviously
We're
have
talking
your
about being
dog
off
on
leash,
a leash,
right? Yes.
But we're currently in a park where there's quite a few dogs that are often off leash. They're very sweet.
I think that we have a park mascot, in fact, because there's just this one terrier that just waltzes around like it owns the place. So, like, who, and not even a collar.
Walk by and pee on your truck
Yes,
tire.
He really does. He walks by and goes, Barley and Oreo just love it.
Yeah.
So those are the rules that are usually written out. Everybody knows them, but then there are some rules that maybe aren't explicitly written down and you don't know, but we're here to be your RV besties and help you out.
Again, and if you're one of the offenders, no judgment here.
Little judgment.
We're just letting you know that we know.
That's true. All right, well, what is your biggest pet peeve?
Okay, honestly, and this seems like a really simple thing to abide, but sometimes RV parks are set up a little weird where you're, you know, the laundry room's over there and my RV's over here. And why don't I just walk through this site right here?
The most direct route.
Yeah,
Yeah.
A to B, I get it. I understand. I like to be efficient too, but it's basically like you're walking through someone's backyard.
This is our yard. I mean, we only have this much
It's
of
a
it.
little patch.
Please respect it.
Yeah. So, walking through other folks' campsites is kind of a no-no.
Can you also please teach your children? I mean, they're sweet and all, but please teach your children to stay out of my yard.
Grumpy old grandma over here. Another unspoken rule, and it's actually something that we've kind of been dealing with, again, in our current situation, and I feel like we're talking junk about this RV park, but we're not. It's a very nice
really like
place.
it.
These are just small instances that we have. Lights. Our neighbor, he's got a motion-censored floodlight attached to the front of his RV. It's not like near his door, so if someone approaches his door, it's on the front of his RV, so if a cat walks by, maybe a squirrel. I don't know if the motion sensor picks that up. Car, people, dogs, everything. That thing just blares out in the middle of the night. And now, the light doesn't face our RV.
Thank
it
God.
faces the people across the way, but I would absolutely hate to be them.
I would hate it. I mean, it is unnecessarily bright. Like, what do you need that for?
He's not even there half the time and it goes off.
So, I guess the point is,
Be mindful of your lights at night.
Yes, and most people are not going to have that kind of light power going on. What we're really referring to is the LED lights that go around your RV. Those can be a little bit brighter than you think, especially when you're like 5 foot from the next RV. It'll shine directly through that bedroom window and keep me and him awake at night.
That's true. And when it comes to LED lights, we love those too. I mean, you can probably see our RV is lined with them.
They're
but
for raving, though.
But they are a little bit for raving, a little bit of party time. However, we don't leave our lights on out at night. And I guess another thing to bring up in that situation is that if you're pulling into an RV park at night, try your best. I know you're trying to get set up and all that. Just try and keep the lights to a minimum, essentially. You know, I know you need to like disconnect and set everything up, but
I'm the one doing the backing up, and like as soon as I get a direct line and I don't have to do a whole bunch more moving, I'll go ahead and turn off those lights because all I really need is just backing up in his direction.
Yeah, and we're not telling you to like hurry up and get set up. Make sure your stabilizers are down. Make sure you're even. Like, of course,
Don't
like do what you gotta
something.
do. Like, don't get hurt. But as soon as you can turn the lights off from getting set up and getting to your spot, do that.
Speaking of RV parking, I might just be a little bit sensitive about this because I tend to be the one that parks the RV.
Okay, and for those of you that don't know us and didn't see how this came about when we first got the RV, she was bound and determined to be able to drive, park, and do anything with our travel trailer.
I wanted, yes, without him, like, by myself, just in case. You never know.
Everyone's got a system, and over the years, that has become ours.
Yes.
I'm the direction giver. She's the parker.
And it works great.
Don't judge me. I'm not judging you.
Anyways, my whole point is, can you please not stand out in your front yard and stare at me while I am struggling and trying to get the right angle?
Listen, I know you want to sit out there with your cocktail. We just rolled in around happy hour, and you're like, is it going to be a struggle? I see this pretty girl. Can she park that thing?
Oh, and honestly, okay, I'm not going to lie, though. The reward is actually pretty great whenever you nail it, and, like, people are watching it, and they actually come up, and they're like, good job.
I cannot count how many times someone, probably another woman, has walked up and been like, "You're a badass."
Yeah.
I am so impressed with you. I wish I could park. I wish my husband would let me. I'm like, she wanted to learn.
Let you?
Yeah,
Oh, watch out.
Yeah, sorry, we don't go there.
I mean, we all do it. I actually really like watching people too, but can you at least, like, hide behind a tree so I don't know that you're doing it?
Right. And here's another one that does apply to the whole parking thing. We have run into a situation where, we're at one of our home base RV parks, and we disappeared for a few days to go on, like, an adventure. Then we come back because Victoria's got to work a shift at the hospital. We come back, and our spot is blocked. And we go to the office, and they're like, just take another one. But I was like, but I liked that one. So anyways, don't park in open RV spots because you never know if someone's about to come.
No, and we were lucky that time because the office was open at that time and we were able to relocate. But we've had another situation where we roll up and it was after dark and we just had to choose another spot.
That's true.
So, like, don't be inconsiderate. Don't think that you can just park there because no one's parked there yet.
Yeah, it's another one of those, like, mind your neighbor things. Like, another thing when it comes to, like, pulling in with the RV is we've been in some RV parks where, like, the roads through in between the RVs are narrow and, like, it's you don't have a whole lot of space to, like, back your RV in. So, like, make sure that, like, your vehicles that aren't your RVs, your trucks, your cars, things like that are not, like, in the middle of the roadway. Try and get them as much into your space as possible because that does really make it easier on the people that are coming in and out.
I really just think what it comes down to is always assume that someone's going to be trying to park somewhere near you and just be considerate.
Think about the room that you would need to get your RV
Think about
parked.
what you need. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, here's another one. How about when you see your neighbors out having a nice day, like, maybe like having a little cookout at their RV or a little picnic, something like that, maybe wait to dump your tanks because no one loves to eat dinner and smell your poop.
Yeah, no, you're not lying. I've had that happen before. I mean, we weren't eating a picnic, but we were sitting outside and it was not very nice.
You're not going to find that one in any, like, welcome to this park guide, you know?
Right.
But just saying, like, just as a courtesy, like...
It's not the best way to make friendly neighbors.
Yes.
This one might come off a little bit judgy, which I don't mean for it to, because I understand this is your home, and it kind of refers to, like, longer term parking, but can you please not turn your yard into a salvage yard?
Oh, yeah, the hoarders.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you roll across these RVs, and it's essentially the equivalent of those houses with all sorts of broken down cars in their front yard.
Yeah, it's not the prettiest thing to put your eyes on, and some parks will be like, you cannot have this stuff out here, but not every park, so that's why we're using this as an unspoken rule, because we've been in some really nice RV parks. Like, a KOA wouldn't let you get away with that.
Never.
At any KOA we've ever been to,
No.
a ton. But then you go to, like, a longer term park, like we were at one in Alabama where it was a little sketchy like that, where people basically use in front of their RV as their trash receptacle.
Yeah.
So it's not a good look.
Not only that, but it's probably a fire hazard. Like, these things are tinder boxes, and you start piling stuff up against them, and then something happens. It's very unsafe.
Yeah, so it's not only dangerous, it's ugly. And now, honestly, this is the one that just irks me the most, and I'm a chill person. Like, I really am. Like, I don't really let stuff get to me. But when you're at an RV park and you're trying to use one of their laundry facilities, some have a lot of washers and dryers, some have like one or two, right? How about you set your timer on your phone and make sure that you go get your laundry out of that washer or dryer as soon as it is done. Because I'm not going to be the one that takes your laundry outside of the washer and dryer and just sets it there. Like, as much as I want to, because I'm trying to get my laundry done.
Right.
I'm not going to be that person. So, like, don't make me feel that way inside.
Right. My God, are we going to be dealing with this for the rest of our lives? I mean, I swear, we went from an apartment where we dealt with this all the time, and now we're in an RV park or a laundromat where we deal with this all the time.
And it's basically like a courtesy to your neighbors. They're trying to get their laundry done on a Saturday afternoon. You're trying to get it done. Like, let's work as a team here. You know what I mean?
And I might be guilty of this sometimes, but try not to use every single washer or dryer so that if somebody needs to sneak in a load, they can.
I'm not even mad at that. Just, like, make sure you don't leave it in there.
Be prompt,
like
right? Yeah.
5 minutes beyond when it's over.
Yeah.
Like, that's about the max. I hate dragging my stuff to a laundry room and then setting my own timer for your laundry so I can go back and start mine.
Yeah, I get it. Also, can somebody tell me what's up with all these RV parks? Because there's been, I think, 3 that we've been at in the last 2 years that only have cold water. Why can't we have hot water?
That's
like,
true.
I have
the one in New Jersey, the one in Washington, like, where's the hot water at?
I have scrubs that I want to, like, completely sanitize if possible, you know, and sometimes you want hot water.
I think we spent a lot of time at laundry mats in those cases instead of doing laundry at the RV park.
True.
And so now that we've covered some of the unspoken rules that you're going to find at an RV park, let's talk a little bit about some of the rules that you might find when you're, like, dry camping, boondocking at a state park, things like that. Probably the number one rule, and if you RV, I probably don't need to say this to you, is pack it in, pack it out. Whatever you bring to a dry camping spot, make sure that you leave with it. Sometimes you're going to get lucky enough that there's going to be some sort of trash receptacle or dumpster, but
don't count on it.
That's not the case most of the time. Yeah. So just plan to bring everything that you brought in there out.
Yeah, including your poop and your gray tank. Okay?
We have actually run into a situation, this is another one of these rules, where someone was slow leaking their gray tank at a state park in, I believe we were in Georgia.
That might be right, yeah.
And, like, we were their neighbor, and we watched their gray tank drip the entire time we were there, and it's just kind of unsightly.
Apparently this is a hack that some RVers use, but if you're, like, directly beside somebody and you slowly let your gray, I don't care if it is your gray tank drip, just don't.
And this one kind of goes with, like, packing it in, packing it out type deal. Is I know that you think everything that you threw into that fire burned, but probably it didn't. So make sure you, like, don't leave trash in fire pits at some of these places. Especially, like, there's no one coming to clean up after you at a boondocking site or a dry camping site. Sometimes in state parks there will be people that will do that, but, like, don't make them.
Yeah, and I mean, let's go back to 6th grade science. Aluminum cans do not burn. Come on, y'all. If you've been dispersed camping, boondocking, any of that, you know that one of the biggest draws is that you get to be all out by yourself for the most part in the middle of nowhere. Well, one of my biggest pet peeves is when someone rolls up, we've been out there solo, having a great time, and they park directly beside of us when there's so much space. Like, I don't understand. Do you not want to have the same experience?
Right. Obviously, depending on where you're at, the space is going to vary, but, like, if you have the opportunity to give someone else space in one of these boondocking situations, give it to them.
Give me space.
Obviously, the size of these boondocking areas is going to vary. However, if you find yourself in one of these situations, just know your neighbor doesn't want to be camped right next to you. It's why they're out having this type of camping experience.
Yeah, give me space.
Now, this one, when you talk about generator use, it can vary because, like, if you're in a state park, they're probably going to have some very stated rules about generator hours. It could be like 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. or it could be like you can only run your generator from 10 a.m. to noon and then, like, 4 p.m. to 6 and then, like, you know, it just depends on where you are. However, if you're in a boondocking situation, you're kind of the boss when it comes to the generator, and it's one of those situations where if you find yourself where you're in close earshot of neighbors, you might want to shut that thing down, you know,
At normal quiet time hours.
Try and follow the 10 or 11 o'clock.
Yeah, now if you're
rule.
super far away, like, it's not going to make a huge difference. Like, go ahead and run your generator. And I think we've kind of been offenders of this occasionally, especially with our old generator.
Yeah, it was loud.
We had an open frame one. We didn't know no better. It's the first one we ever bought, but that thing was really, really loud.
Yeah, we've upgraded and we're quieter, I promise.
A lot quieter. All right. Now that we've droned on about our own complaints for about 20 minutes, we would like to hear, what are your biggest pet peeves whenever you're pulling into a campground? Rules, unspoken rules, written, unwritten, that people just can't seem to follow.
Yeah. You can either comment on the video below or shoot us a message, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that things, at Project RV Living Lost. We'd love to hear from you.
And speaking of hearing from you guys, we actually have a few questions from last week that we can answer.
Q&A segment, y'all. So the first one, Victoria, do you want to read that one off?
Sure. Okay, so this is from YouTube at Autoneurotics. They asked, what does Thomas do for work now with the travel and not being in one spot? So I guess maybe we didn't cover that as thoroughly as we thought in our last episode.
In the podcast?
Yeah.
So this is the thing. I guess we don't focus a whole lot on it because we're always talking about Victoria's travel nursing and how
because it
takes us where we're going.
Yeah.
So I came from a radio background, and what I'm currently doing is a lot of behind the scenes stuff now, which is podcast editing, video editing, and we do a lot of freelance work. Obviously, I'm editing all the YouTube videos that you guys are out there enjoying.
He does a great job.
Yeah, so if you are looking for a podcast or video editor, I'm your guy.
Why don't you read the next one?
Okay. Here's one from Instagram. Do you guys ever miss living in a regular house?
Oh, interesting.
Well,
I mean, like, I want to paint this whole thing as rainbows and butterflies all the time, like everyone else on Instagram does. And honestly, like, we really love it, for sure, but there's things that you can't replace from a sticks and bricks house, like water pressure.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, that's my biggest thing. Anytime that we can go to a hotel and take a long hot shower without worrying about the hot water running out, the tank getting full,
Sure.
like, that is the most amazing feeling.
Yeah, I'm not a bathtub guy, but I mean, she is, and she hasn't been able to enjoy one of those in over 4 years.
You know what my substitution is? Hot springs.
There you go. And I think it's pretty obvious, but we miss having more space. We are in a 34-foot travel trailer, so we don't have a whole lot of it.
Honestly, though, you kind of get used to it. It's not like we were in the biggest apartment to start with, and I think we actually do constantly run into each other, but, like, I don't even notice anymore.
Yeah, then there's the whole, like, bathroom privacy, if you gotta,
Non-privacy.
we don't have it.
No.
We do close our doors, but you can hear everything that's going on in a bathroom.
You know what you do is you go into the bathroom and then you turn on your Instagram Reels or TikTok
Crank
real
that
loud. Obviously, living in a real house or apartment or whatever has its benefits, but I love our life, and I don't think we're going back to a sticks and bricks house anytime soon.
Probably not. But those are some pretty good questions. We enjoyed hearing from you guys, and obviously keep those questions coming. You can comment on the YouTube video or hit us up on any of our socials at Project RV Living Lost.
And if you are watching us on YouTube, where we have some extra visual content, or you're watching or listening on your favorite podcast platform, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, maybe leave us a little review. And if those hot springs we were talking about at the beginning of the episode sound appealing to you, make sure you check out our full episode on Deep Creek Canyon Hot Springs, where we show you everything you need to know to get there for yourself.
And again, this is a judgment-free zone, but if you have found yourself catching the side-eye, maybe you are in fact the problem. But if we all follow these tips, we can be happy campers together. And of course, we've got a lot more podcasts coming your way. And until next time, y'all keep on exploring and stay lost.